Right. This thing looks really complicated, Brother Adwar, and I'm really good advocate for probably a detailed reading of Chief Yuya, man.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Chief in. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and bring Chief in for a minute. Okay. Greetings, Chief.
Peace. Greetings, everyone.
Greetings, Chief.
Yeah. Peace. So I was kind of easing in, listening a bit. I know Sister Kim had to step away for a moment. But I will say this, everything that Brother Byron told you, Brother Anwar, was 100%. All of the guidance that you've received has been 100%. But what I'm noticing, which is clear, there's emotions there, there's a constant pushback. Whenever someone says something to you, you say, okay, well, let me give you more information, as if they don't understand the situation. So that means that ultimately your thinking is not as clear as you think it is. Because you're receiving good guidance, but then it's like that pushback reveals there's a lack of motivation and desire to actually apply what it is that you're being shown. And most likely because the entire situation is nonsensical. This is a young lady that you've known since grade 11. You're the trustee. I'm assuming if you're the trustee of her youngest, you're also the trustee of your own. So you actually have a legal interest in the household. You two consider yourselves to be friends. So why not bring her into your household and practice polygyny? That's a question, Brother Anwar.
I never thought about it that way, Chief. I really haven't thought about it that way.
So what happens is it's like you're eating a meal that has empty calories. So you're practicing a very loose form of polygyny already, but you don't really have the full authority of a polygynous man. So now when situations like this arise, there's always that demarcation, that delineation between her household and your household, when it really should just be one household. And obviously to some degree, as those children grow older, you're going to be further responsible for that younger child. Because let's say, because you're in Florida. So let's say if you say, hey, I want to take my son on a trip to California or take him to the continent, right? Let's say you want to take your son to Africa. You're a decent brother. So you're going to feel some type of way if you take your son and he comes back and his brother, and he's sharing all of his adventures with his brother, and his brother has gone nowhere. Right. So it's going to, and I'm sure there's times now, even if you buy something for one, you'll buy something for the other boy who's also not yours. So as you mature in age, that's going to become more and more of the reality. You're going to really take that younger boy on a lot more, just to establish conformity and fairness across the line. So the question really has a deeper premise to it in terms of what you should actually do. And like I said, there's a lot of pushback when people are saying, well, what about this or about that? Oh, well, let me give you more information. We got all the information we need. You got this woman over there. She's raising your son. You want to tell her things to do at times, but you're not sure if you should. And mainly because she's not your wife. But she should be your wife. That's the bottom line. She has 2 children by 2 different men. So at this point, her market value has decreased incredibly. And you're still in her life. So that also makes her less attractive to potential suitors, that her ex is still lingering around, because as a man, you coming into a situation like that, what the suspicion is going to be.
Agreed.
Immediately.
I will.
That you two are.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm listening.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. That's why I'm
laughing. Yeah. So, like I said, the suspicion will be that you two are still involved with one another. So, her market value has decreased incredibly. you know, for several reasons. So now she's going to get a third man, maybe have a third child, and now have 3 children by 3 different men. You know, so yeah, the truth, and obviously, yeah, you could get a reading on this. We could look into it. But before that even happens, you need to just think about your own cultural protocol. You know, that's the most important thing that you should consider in this time, your cultural protocol. And what exactly is this? You know, you're a man who's striving for indigenous values. In an indigenous sense, we don't have baby mamas. So we either have family or we don't have family. So you need to try to establish some framework and semblance of a more functional family model with this woman, because, yeah, you're sharing her. And like Sister Kim said earlier, she's absolutely correct. You know, even when we get with a woman, she has children by another man, it's polyandrous. And us coming in, we're always the junior husband, always. You know, and she might not have, you know, been with this man for 10, 15 years with a junior. Okay, so in this scenario here, you have something similar, but you're actually seeing your husband. You had children with her first. You know, you need to really, really look at that. And I know you currently have a woman that you're dealing with now, but this is how we did this back in the days. This is how we did this. And the truth is, if you're her go-to man, you still have a guiding influence over her. So if she's not currently conscious and you want to bring her to that space, then you need to work with her. Like, as opposed to, and I wouldn't even have that conversation with my son. Like you said, you wanted to ask him how he is in the house. You should leave that alone. You know, just use observation, because children are extremely intuitive. And if something is a little off, he's going to be able to take that along with your questioning, and he's going to start developing his own summations. So it's not really a healthy thing to do that. You're obviously still this woman's man. You're obviously still her husband. So you just need to begin to behave like it. Just own that. Just take it. Even if you're not sexual with it, just own your authority as her husband. And then you'll see, she'll fall into line.
Good advice. Good advice. I never thought about it like how you described it too, man. And I'm like I said, it's funny that you said we're trying to fall into our indigenous thought in the culture that we're rearing. And,
get the end, right here.
That's Brother Tyree. Guess he's moving some furniture.
He probably didn't know he was still on. I muted him.
But I'm gonna look at it that way. I'm definitely looking into how this reflects into the paradigm that we're creating together, and definitely have probably a better conversation with his mother after this too. And I really appreciate the wisdom and the thoughts and the ideas that are there.
Let us know how it turns out, so that way we know that these 4 people who are on the line, that our words were not wasted.
I will. I definitely will. Yeah. You know me. I'm very open. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Sister Kim is back, so I'm gonna fall back.
Okay.
Yeah. One more thing too is, like, you know, like we're not sexually involved at all. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that Chief stated, and yeah, it seems like I do. I didn't realize it until Chief kind of broke it down. It's like, yeah, I do play a certain role there, patron husband. So I got to ponder a little bit, and I'll have a better conversation with his mother, with Elijah's mother.
Yeah. Do you think you could, like Chief was saying, handle a polygynous role like that?
With proper guidance and counsel, I believe I could.
Okay.
I look at it as being I look at it as being a business owner also, making sure that everything is being ran properly. It's kind of like managing employees to a certain degree. So, but as much as I don't really like to do a full comparison to business and family, but family is a business. So, like I said, guidance and understanding, and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding inside of that is key for that.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. Like you said, we're trying, and part of that is part of you wanting to, I guess, you observing certain things and saying how she should be more nurturing or whatever to the child. It kind of goes back to the show we had on reaching back or trying to help other people, because it's like, once we're going through certain development, it's like now we look at everybody in our little sphere or everybody in our little circle, and we're like, okay, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're doing this wrong, because this is what I'm learning now. So like Chief was saying, like, she's not learning that. You're learning that. So she's not a part of that culture. And just like you said, the only way really that she's gonna that she can even come into that is if she is a part of your household. So, because she's not coming to the teachings on her own or anything. Like, you all didn't approach it as a couple. It's just you. So, yeah, she's going to have to completely come under your authority or under your household to even try to be a part of that, because then she can kind of step out of that role of trying to be the leader and trying to be the man in her house, so that you can be the man in the house, completely. Not just a few days out of the week.
Let me interject and put a what if in the situation, because there's a high probability that this might happen. Is that she denies the opportunity or the idea of what we just spoke on, and she thinks that she just wants to deal with it the way she wants to, and I can see her saying that. That's the thing that I can see. It's not that she's very alpha male when it comes down to that, to things like this. Her control, her level, she likes to be in control of a lot of situations. Even down to the school that my son currently goes to, that I've had multiple conversations about the school. It's a Christian-based school, and it's very against where I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying for the school, and it goes, every time I make that payment, it goes to something that I disagree with. So
stop paying.
So you know what? I wish it was in that same situation. I wish it was that easy to say that. So when it comes down to money's going into it, it's not that even if I stop paying, I'm still going to have to pay.
All right, Anwar. Yes. Anwar, you're making too many excuses, man. Stop tiptoeing around this woman. I don't care how. This is like the 5th time I've heard you on a phone call telling us how much of a werewolf your ex-wife is. Okay, we know she's big and bad and tough, but she bleeds once a month. She's still a woman, and you're still a man. So either you're going to take the lead and you're going to say this is what we're going to do, or you're not. There's only one way. There's only, there's no, okay, you present this to her and she bucks back. What do I do after that? Well, if she's bucking back, that's the problem right there. If you just said that for you, family is business. If family is business, then what position do you hold in this organization? And what position does she hold? Now, if you said, well, she's like an alpha male, but she's not an alpha male. She bleeds once a month. Alpha men don't bleed once a month out of their vaginas. They don't have vaginas. So she's not a man. Regardless of how much she may have convinced herself of that. And the only reason she feels comfortable presenting that way is because you've presented weakness. So where you're weak, she's decided to be strong. So you have to make a determination as to what position, if you two are part of the same organization, which you clearly are, because you're raising a child together. In fact, you're raising children together. Because that other child is you're helping her with that one too. And the influence that you're spreading through your son, your 7-year-old Elijah, is going to that 2-year-old as well. Don't do it this way, do it that way. Daddy says it, so that's your family. So you have to claim your women, man. You don't negotiate with your women and, maybe we could do it this way. No, you claim it. This is what it's going to be. And Sister Kim just said it exact. You don't like the school? I'm not paying for the school. This is where we're going to send them. And I know you're saying, well, it's not that simple. Yeah, of course, because she can always use state against you. We know it's not so simple. But there has to be a moment, if you're having such an issue with certain things, where you do put your foot down. If it's not that big of an issue, then just let it ride. But understand this. The longer you stay in the background tiptoeing around a woman, the greater the chances are that another male will come in, because she's still on the public market. So as long as she's on the public market, and guys are going to holler at her. So there's an opportunity that another man will come in and totally redesign the culture of the entire house. Like you're saying, she's sending your son to a Christian school, you don't like it. Well, what if the next guy she meets is a deacon or an aspiring pastor or a minister? Then what? Then now you'll be saying, oh man, I got to get my son out of there. That'll be the next phone call. I got to figure out a way to get my son to live with me, because now they're baptizing my son. They got him kneeling down, praying to a cross and this and that, so forth and the third. But I will say, well, why didn't you snatch up when I first told you? This is your fault. You see? So you keep tiptoeing. That's why whenever someone's presenting a solution, you keep coming back with, well, all right, let me give you more information. We don't need more information. It's just you that has to develop the courage to sit in front of this woman or stand, whatever gives the best presentation, and say, listen, this is what we've been doing so far, this, that, and the third, and I want to take this to another level. I'm not saying that we need to get back together like we were anything, but it will make it more efficient for me. And I see, obviously, you need help with your 2-year-old. You probably even need help with Elijah. And there are visions and ideas that I have for my son. I want my son to be great. I want my son to be a part of a great legacy. And I'm sure you don't want any difference, but I wouldn't want him to have something that his little brother doesn't have. So let's really form a corporation together. Let's form a union. Let's team up and let's do this as a team. Now, there's different positions on a team. And she may start barking and yapping, but the truth is she probably won't bark and yap, because you finally came with a defined plan and put your foot down. And in truth, she'll probably be quicker to approach you about some type of an intimate relationship, because now she's feeling like, I'm covered. I got a man in the house. Mm-hmm. But all this tiptoeing around her, nah, man. That let me tell you something. When you tiptoe around a woman, you make her into a monster. You make her worse. That's the worst thing that.
You're breaking up, Chief.
Ever do it's.
You're breaking up. Can you hear me? Okay, his call dropped. He'll probably call back. But yeah, back to what Chief was saying, she'll probably feel relief. To be honest with you, like, she'll probably breathe a huge sigh of relief that she doesn't have to do so much. And like he said, once that happens, like you said, like Chief was saying, she'll probably approach you about developing, more of a love relationship, because certain things will be taken care of. And like Chief said, she'll recognize you. Okay, this is the man in my life. So, let's just be a family. Let's do this 100%. I want to bring in another call real quick. Are you still there, Amar?
Yeah.
Amar,
I'm here.
Okay. Chief dropped. He'll call back. Let me bring in 347. Greetings.
Peace, Sister Kim. Greetings. Peace, Brother Amar. Peace, Chief. Peace, Brother. I'm doing fine. I joined a little late, but I'm seeing that the topic is single families. Am I correct?
Relationship aftermath. Yeah.
Well, you know, honestly, I have a lot of experiences since I was a product of a single household. Mm-hmm. And I'm also a product of a woman that thought that she can handle everything. Mm-hmm. So, like, I've spent many years, and thankfully now with the help of the Anu family, in deciphering all of my sicknesses, my diseases, you know. And it really truly wasn't until I met an actual man like Richie, who on the first shot said, I'm looking for a wife. And that took me off guard. And after, you know, after courting, you know, that appealed to me. But, you know, now being his wife, we took in his son. And it's been his older son is Aaron. He's going to be 17. So he started living with us when he was 12. Currently, he's back with his mom because his mom has a whole bunch of different views than us. Mm-hmm. And it worries me because, first of all, I have no say as a mom. Richie is very much like Aaron can do what he wants to do. And this is something that I would like to speak more with Chief in further phone calls. But, you know, it's worrying me because, you know, I don't know what he is absorbing and what he's not. And I think one of the main things that children from single-family households that are coming into this information, their main thing, what they should do is make sure that their children don't do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And that's my main prerogative for Aaron. You know, my main and Richie's main prerogative too is that he understands all of the dangers in sleeping around, in just picking any woman, and not valuing, you know, certain things about women. And I think that is the main point in trying to raise our children, trying to like steer them away from all of these issues that we've been having to live through just because we weren't brought up the way we're naturally supposed to. And it's hard. It's hard for me as a stepmom. I'm sure it's hard for Aaron. Aaron's not one to really talk about his emotions, and I'm not one to pry them out of anybody. But, you know, I'm sure he sees the difference in the quality of life that he received as a child versus mm-hmm. what his brother and sister are getting. Yeah. So that's hard. And as someone who's been, you know, researching children and how to raise them and how development works in children, it's for a child, their brain is still separated, and their frontal lobe, which is the part of the brain that assimilates society and collectiveness, that part of the brain is not connected to the rest of the brain until 24. So trying to explain a lot of concepts to children, it sometimes doesn't really work out as well as we think until they grow up and they're 24, 25, and then they start putting things together. You know, so it's really imperative, you know, Brother Anwar, if you can snatch up your son, do it, because it's so important in having that stability of one household, because personally I see the damage that it's doing to my own stepson and having to be like divided between these two households. And I don't know what his mom tells him or not, but I know he does not want to be there. I know for a fact that he would rather with his father. Richie is everything to Aaron. So if he currently is still with his mom right now, it's because she's telling him things or doing things, and for him, and then God knows what is going on in his psychology. And that's what is most worrisome for me, because it's almost like a tug of war in his mind between two different cultures. You know, and it's literally two different cultures. You know, his mom eats meat, she's McDonald's, she, you know, thinks whatever. Priorities are totally different. So, yeah, that's all I just wanted to share, because it's a very personal experience, not only coming from, you know, my own issues that I had with my father and mother, and the struggle that I had to do, that I had to live, but I'm witnessing it in a 17-year-old boy, young man, you know, because at this point it's a little too late, as Chief has said. So, you know, just keep that in mind, because it's so important, especially for a boy who's gonna be eventually a man.
Yeah, I think that's really important, that we think about what the children are seeing. So, like, as a young boy, you know, you said your son was 7 or more. He's seeing, you know, all these. He's seeing different men, you know, come in and dictate certain things, and then leave, and then see his mom, you know, trying to be the man, or trying to, you know, run the household at the same time. Maybe she, you know, since she's not as nurturing as you would like her to be, she may be just, you know, overextended a little bit and kind of stressed out. He's looking at that. He's looking at, okay, well, this man comes in and then leaves. There's, you know, he's looking at the relationship of his mother between these two different men as well, and trying to say, okay, this is how it's supposed to be, or this is okay. And then, you know, mom is this way, you know, so it's like Michelle said, it's really confusing. So I think the point that Chief brought up about, you know, bringing her into your house or bringing her into your world is really like two options. Either do that or just take your son. And, you know, it almost kind of boils down to that, I think. I'm going to bring, I think this is Tareen, back in. 904, are you still there?
Yeah, peace.
Okay, peace.
And Chief caught me, man. I was moving some stuff. I didn't know that y'all have it's all out online like that. You know?
Yeah, just mute your phone when you don't want to say anything, unless you're done.
Okay. Yeah, man. And I mean, it's really. I think we pretty much summed it up, you know, for Brother Elmore, man. I didn't really want to, you know, change the subject, because, you know, I had some questions of my own, Sister Kim, that was, you know, dealing with my class, you know, and I don't know if this is the appropriate time to ask those questions. They're dealing with the North and South nodes. Okay, and I looked mine up, and it was my North node was Capricorn, and my South node was Cancer. And I found out, you know, that Yemoja was, you know, my North node. I mean, my South node. But I was talking to Brother Dietrich, and he was saying that it was most likely Baba Wale.
Baba Wale.
Wale.
Baba Lu
Yeah, Baba Lu Aliye. Yeah. That was, okay, and this what I was trying to understand, because in the exercise it was telling me to write some stuff down, but I really didn't understand what that meant as far as like my North nodes and my South nodes. Does that mean that these Orishas are my guardian Orisha, or
no?
Or I really didn't understand. I didn't get it at all.
Yeah, the purpose of it was to understand your past life influence and your current life ambition. So it's telling you that in a past life, this was what you were supposed to get. This was the energy that you're supposed to be working through in that past life. Now you have transitioned into another one in this current life, and this is the energy you need to awaken in you, or to be more explore more. It's not necessarily your crowning Orisha or anything. It's just this is what you need to work on in this life. And and to further explain, if you couldn't find, I don't know if you have the book Grasping the Root of Divine Power. That book is a supplement to the class as well as the shows. So some of those answers that you're looking for, you'll have to go back into the archives on enlightenment and transformation and listen to those old shows to help you through the class as well. And there's a student forum too when you log into Student House. You can ask those questions.
Okay. Thanks, Sister Kim, because I was just on that. All right.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Okay. All right. You want me to mute you now, or did you want to come in on the topic? Okay, I think he's gone. Oh, wait a minute. Go ahead.
Hello? Oh, no, I was just going to say, the brother Anwar, like I said before, man, just get your son, man, and you teach him, the ways of manhood, if even though, Chief gave some excellent advice on what you should do, but if it don't work out and she's not into the, polygamous, relationship or whatnot, then see if you can get your son and spend more time with him and, not really worry about, what's going on in that household and, be the one presiding over that household.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
got a lot of food that I got to ingest, and I'm going to take a lot of that advice. And I like the what you stated, Kim. It's either two things. It's either we're going to do it like this or we're going to do it like that. And those two aspects are there. So I got to digest a couple things and hopefully have some very good conversations within the next couple of weeks about the situation.
Cool. I'm going to bring in another caller here. This is 662.
Greetings, Sister Kim, Brother Anwar, Chief. Hi, everybody.
We're well. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm just listening. I'm loving this conversation. What I want to say to Brother Anwar, I am that type of person that he says his ex is very, very strong-minded, and my daddy taught me this because I did live with my daddy during my high school years. And I have a lot of masculine tendencies that I'm trying to get away from, but I do. But I did meet a man who was just so self-assured in himself that he was like, this is the way it goes, and this is how I do things, and I fell in line because he was handling his business, so why wouldn't I fall in line?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking if he approaches her in that manner, and it don't matter if he thinks he's right or wrong, if he says this is the way it's gonna go, if she got any sense, and because from what I'm listening, he's a good man. I'm listening to his conversations, and she has to have some sense because she got with him in the first place. She gonna fall in line. He can relax.
And then she can relax.
Right.
Yeah, because I think a lot of women just like you were saying, we don't know if you've never been with a man that is a man and so assured of himself and knows what he's doing and knows the direction. Like you still have a lot of that residue left in you that, okay, I still have to do this or I still have to do that because I don't know, I'm not too sure. You know what I mean? But when you finally do find that person, like the woman can finally just be a woman and she can relax because, as much as we say, or we've been programmed to think that we're this strong, I gotta be the strong black woman, I gotta be strong, strong. You really don't want to be. You really don't want to do all of those things. You really do want somebody to come in and take care of it for you.
Right, because it's tiring, it's exhausting. It really is.
It really is. So I don't think
I don't know.
I don't think you'll have that much trouble. Like if you if you make those decisions. Like you were saying, even about the school, like you don't support the school. If you tell her, like, look, I'm not paying for that school. That's not what I don't believe you should be going to that school. But you have to give an alternative, because that's the first thing she's like, well, okay, if he's not in that school, then what? Like, so you got to have a solution in place, have this all the way, kind of thought through. Like, I'm not paying for this school. I want him to go here, so, it's just like, like the sister said, just being sure of what you're doing, and her not seeing you be wishy-washy or, kind of faltering a little bit, because like she said, where she sees you're weak, she's going to step in and be like, okay, he can't do this, so I'm going to take over. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so all of you that are on the call, like I said, if you want to make a comment, that's fine. Just mute your mic when you want to come in, unmute your mic when you want to come in. I'm not going to mute your mic unless there's some background noise, but please feel free to continue the conversation. If you're on the line or listening from the internet, the number is 347-945-7680, and you can just press the number 1 and I'll bring you in. And we've gotten a lot. This is a really good topic because for the most part, a lot of us have disjointed and kind of dysfunctional families because we have made so many mistakes. And so now, much later in life, we're trying to clean that up and don't really know how to go about doing it, So it's not just picking apart Anwar's situation. A lot of us are in similar situations. So it's helpful for everybody, Anwar. Thanks for being open enough to voice it. Because a lot of people are dealing with this situation. Yeah.
Like I said, I do not mind playing the fool, man. And I really appreciate everybody's input and definitely the directions, the instructions, Chief and the whole family. It gave me another light, and this is one of the things that I was more thinking about last night, is I just don't know how to approach it. Now I have so many aspects that was given to you. And with love, I think, you know what I'm saying? And that's going to give me a very clear picture of the road that's in front of me in this situation. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for bringing it up. All right. So again, everybody that's on the call, if you'd like to comment on it's not really a topic. This is, everything's kind of random. So if you'd like to change the conversation or comment on what we've been talking about, feel free. Like I said, there is no topic. I didn't have one in particular. I was just thinking about the Shorty Low situation and all these different children, and how they're going to get along now that he's gone. How the mothers of those children are going to interact. Are they pretty much just split up? I don't even know if the women got along or if he was managing that situation when it was going on. I don't know how it was. But it's very much a polygynous. It was very much a polygynous relationship. Just listening to the situation, because at some point, all these people have to interact with each other. So instead of, sometimes we'll look at that situation and say, it's a hot mess, which it could be. But I think we got to kind of get out of our head this kind of American idea of what a family's supposed to look like or how it's supposed to function, because for the most part, most of the time, it doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for us at all. So there are other models that we can apply to our situation. And just like in Anwar's situation, like I said, rarely are women single. It's just a matter of like Chief said, and like the sister was saying, who's going to step up, because she'll fall in line when someone finally steps up, and that's who's going to take the lead. Otherwise, it's just going to be a chaotic situation, just because women by nature are that chaotic force, that chaotic energy, and it's just going to be a mess, which is what you see in society. Like a lot of the problems that we have just, in the world right now just kind of comes from women trying to act in a masculine role and trying to take the lead. And we're not necessarily built for that. I mean, we're the doers, but we need direction. So, yeah, that's the situation, and that's what we're dealing with today. Michelle or Brother Byron, are you still there?
I'm here too, by the way.
Okay. Oh,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here to see.
Okay.
I
had a reading, but I got stood up.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to kind of ask the callers what did they think about Chief's solution. How do you feel about that?
Actually, and this is Michelle from Mississippi. I had just read
Marching Band Michelle.
Jackson State, that's right. I just read Solutions for a Dysfunctional Family. Now, I didn't read before because I really didn't think it applied to me as an older woman. I'm not of childbearing age or anything of that nature. But that book was really, I read it in one sitting.
Yeah. It's a good book.
and it was really interesting, and it touched on so many things that I hadn't really thought about. And actually the plan for making a mission statement for your family I thought was excellent. I don't know if I'll be able to adapt it, but that was really, I even enjoyed the part about the elders teaching the youngsters how to mate or guiding them along their mating. It was really good.
Yeah, it's an easy read, and you kind of get into it because it almost reads like a drama
like
or something.
A novel.
Yeah, like a novel. But there's some really good points made in that book. I'm going to bring in another caller that just popped up. I think this is 443. Greetings. You're on
Greetings,
Radio.
y'all. How y'all
Greetings.
doing?
Oh,
Peace.
Sassafras. It's Miss Sassafras.
Oh, Lord. How you doing, Chief?
I'm fine. How are you doing today?
Awesome, man. The weather is great down here. I just feel good. But
okay, how's my brother doing?
He's doing well. He's in the office now. He actually works here at the job. I don't be working. But
I got you.
But I wanted to call in to check on you, Sister Kim, make sure you're okay from last night, because I know you was going through it a little bit.
Yes, I was. I'm much better today. Much better today.
Oh, that's good.
So
good.
That did the trick.
Okay, that's good. As far as the discussion today, honestly, I guess fortunately for me, I can't really relate because I haven't had any children from any, previous relationships or anything like that.
All of your siblings have different fathers. All right. Stop trying to act bougie. Stop acting bougie. Come on now.
Oh, see, no.
You can relate more than anyone on this phone line.
No,
okay?
I'm not acting bougie. No. I'm just saying in my personal, like the people I share a space with, I can't relate to that. But yes, I can relate because all my sisters, we all have different dads, and that was rough. It still is rough, But at the end of it, I just hope that everybody can come together. Chief, I do like your solutions for Brother Anwar. I guess it would just be kind of hard to, like everybody's saying, to get out of that Western civilization mindset, How can you have, two women at the same time or, gel families together? And I think people do it all the time, but we just do it behind each other's backs.
Yeah.
And usually don't find out until somebody dies. Like Shorty Low or anything like that. Then you see all these children that look like the deceased. And you're like, hold up, wait a minute, who's your father?
Right. Luke Cage.
You know what I mean? So why not? Why not just be truthful and say, hey, I really like this person and I gel with this person and I actually have a baby with this person. So I think y'all would get along too. Let's just get one giant house, or y'all can have your own houses. I don't care, but let's just come together and raise these children together instead of sneaking off and doing this and doing that. And now everybody's all in their feelings and hurt up.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds real good, but you know, I don't know. I guess it's not cut out for everybody.
Well, you know, a lot of people are already engaged in it, like you said, and you know, like Brother Anwar, he's already kind of doing that. You know, it's just it's the last portion of what you said. Let's come together and raise these children. That's really it. As far as the sexual piece and all that, that doesn't even have to be included. To be honest, you know, it's really about because there's different modalities of family. If you go over to the continent, a lot of times you'll have the older women. It's known the ones who are in polygynous relationships, they have young male lovers, and it's not even taboo. You know, typically, like if a woman is in her mid to late 50s and she's in a polygynous relationship, because keep in mind her husband may be in his 70s or 80s even. You know, and he may have 3, 4, 5 other wives. He's, you know, that thing ain't working down there no more. That thing is done. So, you know, she'll say she needs a driver. And that's kind of like code word. Everybody knows what that means. Like, so she'll hire a young driver. Maybe he's in his early 20s, because usually it'd be like 19, 20, 21 years old. But that will be her lover. You know, because it's understood, especially as women get around their 40s, their sexual strength really increases. And as men are on a decline, and it's understood, you know, but ultimately we're still raising children together, raising grandchildren together, going to graduations, going to initiations, installments, things like that. So we're no less a family because there's a sexual imperative that's in place. You know, so I think sometimes, like you said, we're stuck in that Western thing. Yeah, a lot of times it's that, but I think sometimes we just don't see the contradictions and the hypocrisies in what we even say we're doing. Because, like, we'll say, no, I can't do that. I wasn't raised that way. I was raised Christian. But meanwhile, you're having children out of wedlock. You know, you're fornicating. So you ain't no doggone Christian. So let's just get that up and let's just, you're something else. Let's pursue what that something else is. It's just like with Anwar's situation, this young lady may not want to call it polygyny, but she's living polyandrously, or polygamy, I should say, because it's really polyandrous. This young lady has 2 husbands, and not to mention if she starts to date another one. And then, or it's really polyamory. And then Anwar, he has the sister he's dealing with now. Then he has his sister as well, you know. And I don't know if he has any other children by any other woman. But so we already have these mixed, blended relationships. But it's the titles that really turn people off. You know, the defining of them that turn them off. But, yeah, let's call it something different. You know, but it is what it is. You know.
It is.
Yeah.
So why is it?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
No, I was just gonna say, and you know, just maybe a generation or 2 ago, this was really kind of the norm. You know, especially I can speak on that just from being in the South. I don't know about, you know, anywhere else, but in the South, it was commonplace for a man to have more than one family, and everybody knew about it. You know, the children were taken care of a lot of the times, and people just kind of, you know, they just dealt with it. It wasn't, maybe they didn't call it polygyny or anything else, but I remember growing up with more than one grandmother, you know, and until I got older, I didn't even know, I really didn't even understand, you know, it wasn't in the children's face like that. to where they knew the romantic interworkings of everything that was going on, and we just knew, okay, this is grandma and that's grandma, you know, and that was it. That was just our family. So, you know, it was commonplace. You know, the children just really didn't get involved, and I think that sometimes we involve the kids too much in the adult relationship of what's going on.
What is the key piece that you said? And obviously many of us on the phone, those of us who have families who are rooted in the Caribbean, because I know definitely in the Caribbean, that's commonplace. But for those of you who also may have family who are rooted in the South, also commonplace. But you'll find a commonality, whether you're in Jamaica, Bahamas, Alabama, Georgia. The same thing is always said. He had two families. See, that's the key. So it's not that he had two women that he got pregnant, you know, or it's not that he just had a woman and a side chick, but it is always like we acknowledge the relationships, and you notice that we don't tend to frown at it when it's a family situation, almost like, you know, Richard Pryor and Which Way Is Up, you know, like he's going cross town and he's zipping back and forth, but not because he's maintaining the sexual survival of each woman, but because he has children on each side, and he's maintaining these children, and he might go to Baptist church on this side, and then he might go, you know, to an apostolic church on this side, but it's clear that he's maintaining a family conformity, and that's really the key. And you notice whenever women bring that up, whenever they talk about their grandparents or great-grandparents or their father, they always say the same thing, and he took care of both.
Yeah.
So it starts to give you, for all the men who are listening, who have considered polygyny, you start to get an understanding of what makes it acceptable to even women who have grown up in the Anglosphere, or, you know, in Europe or America. What makes it acceptable is the man's financial and resourceful viability, as well as his time and energy units that he's willing and able to allot to those who are in his family circle. You know, it's not about the Christianity or anything like that, because they always say the same thing. Two families, he took care of us both. That's it. Right. And as long as they see that their mother or their grandmother or whomever is not disgraced in the process. Because the other third thing that you hear very commonly is he had another family across town. Not down the street, not upstairs in the building, you know, across town. So we didn't really see what happened, but we knew about it, you see. So it's a very viable option, and certainly not all men are ready for that. Not all women are ready for it. But once you make a mess, you have to definitely look at some of the most intelligent ways to recoup and recover. And that's one of the ways that we can recoup from the folly of our Western promiscuity and loose sexual morals. So that's really what this is about, you know.
Yeah, that sex thing is something else.
Like cocaine.
It's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's go ahead. I'm sorry, Byron.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say that when Chief was speaking about polygamous relationships or polygamous arrangements or households, my grandfather.
Okay. I don't know. Somebody's still echoing. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, my grandfather on my father's side, he raised two families, and they were around the corner because they grew up in rural Jamaica, so it wasn't a big city. Those households were around the corner, and he maintained both households. He looked after all his children. He looked after his wives, and he lived till he was 98. So he didn't do any harm at all. You know. So yeah, it can be done. It can be done, and it can be maintained. And in fact, it was even encouraged. The maintenance of both of the households was encouraged in the village. A man would be really, he'd be really counselled hard by his peer group if he raised another family, but yet only chose to maintain one and neglect the other.
Yeah.
There'd be trouble in the village. So it was a standard way of things I'm talking 100 years ago, like 80 years ago, back in Jamaica. It was a standard way of life in rural Jamaica at that time.
Yeah, it's a similar situation here. Like I said, we knew about the other family, and there were, all we knew as children is that, this is my cousin, this is my, whatever. We all played together. We would, just go between households. Sometimes we were with this grandmother, sometimes we were with that grandmother, but we were all together, and they didn't really make a distinction between the two, or like, this set of kids is better than that set of kids. We had no clue. Like I said, we were adults by the time we really found out what was going on. And then, of course, as the children, our parents grew up, and they started to, voice some things. It was only after everybody got older and grew up and, became more Western minded was it a problem, where they started to kind of discuss these things. But for the most part, the adults kept us out of it. We didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. No, go ahead, brother.
Go ahead, Chief. Go ahead. I was just going to say, come in with a little funny thing that my granddad used to say. So sometimes, if my granddad ever heard a man being asked how many children he has, my granddad would say, "No, man get pitney, woman have pitney, man no get man have pitney."
That's smooth. That's really smooth.
Yeah.
It's true though.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true because it gives you a better understanding of the masculine responsibility and the feminine responsibility. The idea that the woman maintains the picnic. Women, for those who don't know, the children. The idea that women maintain the children sheds a different light on the idea of feminism, the idea of women entering into the workforce. I think that's an important commentary. I mean, I've heard similar as well, but that's an important commentary on our state of things. I had another question I wanted to put. Well, actually, two questions. Michelle, are you still there? Oh no, not Michelle. The down south Michelle, country time Michelle.
Yes, I'm still here.
If you could put down the lemonade for a second. What I wanted to ask you. So after you read the book, Solutions, did you feel that there was any plan of action or different course of direction that you wanted to take with yourself following it?
Yes, the difficulty I'm going to have is, as you know, I'm kind of set in my ways. And I really want to always be able to incorporate African traditional religion into my lifestyle. And I'm small town Mississippi, and if people see what I do, they be like, "Oh, you the voodoo queen," So it's gonna be hard for me to find a mate, but I will find one. But it may take a minute.
Okay. So after reading Solutions for Dysfunctional Family Relationships, it made you feel like you wanted to incorporate your spirituality into your daily life, is what you're saying, and also to get a mate.
No. I've always, for the past few years, I've known that incorporating my spirituality in my daily life is important for me. The thing is, if you're dating and you're seeing someone, which is not really dating, mating, whatever you want to call it, it's a lot of Christianity around here, and people really do. I mean, the last guy I dated, and I dated him off and on for 8 years, he was like, yeah, you a voodoo woman.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
and it wasn't said in a kind-hearted way. You know what I'm saying? It was
Sure.
like, oh, yeah, you may do something to me, and I ain't cut out like that. I don't have time. I have to do me. So.
Okay. So you're saying that's why the relationship ended?
The relationship ended because he did not show any. He didn't show an interest in my son. My son was young when he and I started dating, and he didn't show any interest in trying to raise him.
Oh, okay.
If
So
I have to do it by myself, I have to do it by myself.
That's his biological son?
Is that his what now?
Biological son.
No, it's not.
So where's the boy's father?
In Texas. We talked about this.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it again. I know what you called yourself before, a mean old lady. That don't scare me. You keep it moving with all that. I see what you're trying to do. Are you trying to be short? Because you know how it gets at the end of the show. You know what I turn into at the end of the show.
I was trying to shut that down real quick.
Once I hear that buzzer go off, my spikes come out. The spikes in my spine come out. So you wanted him to raise some other man's boy who got somebody else's blood inside of him. You wanted him to raise him for you. If he
wants to be with me, if we're going to be maintaining a relationship as a family unit, that's important.
No, then you shouldn't have started a family before you met him. You should have waited.
Well, actually, Chief, let me tell you this.
Nah,
I was 30 years old, and I wanted a child, but I didn't want the daddy, so I got the child.
So you were selfish. So you were selfish, and you got to deal with your own karma. So you can't expect someone else to have to carry the burden of your selfish karma for you. Come on now. That's not even right.
But see, the other guy that I dated, he incorporated my son into his life.
Well, just because he was
transitioned
okay,
early.
but that's by chance. You can't push that on someone. If someone makes that decision and says, "Hey, I feel like I'm gonna take this little boy to a boy game, a ball game, or something like that," that's on him. But you can't put that on another man. That's not fair.
I didn't force it on him. I gave him time to come into it, and he didn't come into it. So
listen, let me tell you something. You want to know how that little boy was made? He was made by his father having a good orgasm. A good one. A good orgasm. His feet curled. He had a good orgasm, then he put his pants on. And now you want another man to come along and take care of another man's pleasure?
Not
of another man's matured orgasm?
I wasn't looking for him to financially take care of my son. But
it doesn't
far
matter.
as helping me
Even
with
if you
raising
want
him,
him to
yes,
sit and,
I did expect that.
If you want him to sit and talk to him, all right, well, you're going to be alone. You keep thinking like that, or you're going to have to wait till that boy is grown and out the house. Because you thinking back.
Now.
All right, so you might be in a better situation. But you can't force another man or even expect another man to take care of another man's child. See, that's another problem we have in our community that creates a lot of problems. A lot of you sisters have been taught to guilt men into taking care of your mistakes. And that's not right.
Chief,
listen, I don't care how many times you say my name, you're still going to be wrong.
But listen,
okay?
if he was a single parent and I came into his house,
it's
and he
different
had
when
girls,
a man is a single parent. It's
to
completely different when a man is a single parent. It's completely. Anwar is a single parent, but you don't see him saying he's putting any extra pressure on his girlfriend to look after his son because it's completely different. If you just heard what Brother Byron just said,
what if it was a girl?
Different. You hard-headed.
What if it was a girl?
Are you going to listen and learn something, or are you going to keep trying to argue?
I'm listening, Chief. Come on. I'm listening.
This is why you're butt single now. See, nobody wants... No, stop saying butt so much. You're not listening. You can learn something, or you can sit here and keep arguing. Now, I'm not from small-town Mississippi, so I got a little bit more know-how and sophistication than you do. You've been living in the bush all your life, so you ain't been nowhere. You understand? You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you how life works. You can't put that on another man like that. That's a sickness that we've developed in our community through our media and our cultural intrusion. So these women that say, oh, if you was a real man, you'd step up and take care. If you want me, it's a full package. No, you made a mistake. You went and started a family, and really, in all honesty, you shouldn't be thinking about another man until those children are completely raised and out the house. This is why in traditional settings, the child is given to the father and not to the mother. This is the reason. Because when another man comes on the scene, it creates too many complications. Whereas the father may have 2 or 3 other wives. So that boy is able to maintain some level of consistency in his lifetime. The mother's going to have men in and out. And it always creates a problem for the child. But to expect a man to maintain your child for you, that's another man's matured orgasm walking around. I'm not going to have an orgasm in a bowl and then hand it to another man and say, here, take care of this for me. That doesn't even make sense. And that's what you asking someone to do. Yes, sir.
Chief, if I could just chime in, I mean, as a man, and I've got male friends who are mature men. I'm 50 years old. Nobody could show that down on them, and they're going to find that acceptable. No way. They're going to say no. I will take you, but your management and maintenance of your child is your business, unless I agree otherwise. But if a woman is going to lay that down as a precondition, they're going to find it unacceptable.
They're going.
Seriously.
Right. Of course, you know that. They're gone. And that's what I'm trying. And I know you're probably thinking, Michelle, well, it don't matter now because he's grown and out the house. But that mentality still exists. That mentality is a demon. You got to get out of there. And I know you're saying, well, his father's in Texas, and that's the mistake you made. You got to do it right next time, next lifetime. Now, I got a question for someone. I know we're over time, but I got another question. So for all the women, and because this was brought up with the Nate Parker show, and the question was, I know Tasha, and there's been probably 500 comments on the video now with all the women who've come in and said, spoken about his wife, and why should we have to support black men? We're always supporting black men, and there's good women out here, and this, that. If you read the comments on the video. So my question is, a lot of women speak about how black men are not supporting black women, especially those women who are in relationships, and, how women are out here and kind of left out in the cold, so forth and so on. 2 things, really. Why is it that you don't invite those women into your family so that they're no longer left out in the cold? Number 1. Yeah, I'm going to ask that first. Go ahead. I heard somebody breathing.
That was me. Actually, my husband and I actually thought about that. But his mindset was, I'm struggling to take care of you. and our children, I wouldn't feel right bringing in someone else at this juncture right now, because financially I'm not equipped to do that. But
what if she doesn't want your money?
Well, see, we never thought about that, because and that's kind of jacked up though, because we're thinking, okay, if she's a single mom or something like that, and kind of down and out, of course she's going to need some type of financial support. We would have to provide that for her, right? So
no. Okay, no.
You know what? I'll say it, because I know all the women are thinking it, but nobody's saying it. It's because you don't want another woman to have your man. Period.
Well,
it's the relationship.
What?
That could be true. That's probably true. Now, for
what do you mean probably? You're the one talking.
Me personally, I'm not really jealous like that. Now, are we talking sexually? Are we doing all of that, or are we just talking about this is another woman living in a house and we're just all one big family?
We're talking about a woman getting everything that you're getting from your man.
I mean, as long as I'm not ass out, I'm cool. And
as long as you get yours.
And I'm gonna be the first wife anyway.
You don't know anything about being the first wife. That's not gonna work. No. We can't. We got to make it because you don't know how to be a first wife. You don't know. First of all, you're stingy. Number one. Number two, you talk. You gossip. Number three, you watch way too much reality TV. Okay. So and number four, you keep burning the pots when you make food in them, so nobody's coming behind you to have to clean your pots because you want to go watch TV while you're cooking lima beans. You don't want to stand over the pot. You can't be first wife, okay? You can just be across. It's got to be equal across the board. She comes in equal rights, like Bob Marley says, equal rights.
And that's the problem. I don't know why women are so dishonest about that, because that's really what it is.
No, we're gonna change Tasha's mind.
I don't want to share. Don't want to share, or even if we're sharing, or even if you're sharing, you still want to feel like you still have one up over the other woman. It's all about feeling discarded and not you feel discarded or feel kind of thrown away or pushed to the side if someone else comes in and they're getting everything that you're getting. Nobody will say that. I'll say it. That's the case. I've heard it. I've heard it from other women. I mean, nobody, they'll comment on the videos and not leave a name or a picture because nobody wants to raise their hand and say that. But that's what it is. That's why we have so many problems as women, the friendships and the sisterhoods with each other. Nobody will say that.
Sister Kim, if I could add something?
Sure.
Yeah, please.
This is actually a conversation that me and Richard have been having because we are looking to add somebody to the family. And Aaron's mom doesn't really fit in the picture because she would bring a lot of drama. And I'm very weary of who I bring around my children. So, what we're looking for in a sister wife is somebody with a good heart, not somebody perfect, but somebody who I would be comfortable with leaving my children with, who has good morals and basically has a good heart. And we haven't found that person yet, but once we find her, even if she has children, she's more than welcome to come and join us. But it's just that my trepidation is, what kind of people are going to be influencing my children. And that's really what it boils down at the end of the day. Now, I'm talking about someone to live with us in the same home. If it's separate, I don't know that we haven't talked about it that far, like separate households. But I know that.
What is your reasoning for wanting to do that, Sister Michelle? Why is it you two want to do that?
Because we want to have more children.
Okay.
Well,
you said you have like 10. So when you say how many are we talking about? 20?
As many as I can afford to, Chief. Honestly.
Okay.
I would adopt many children, but I would like for Richie to have more children from his own seed.
Okay.
And because Richie's a good man, he has a kind heart, and I see his seed. I mean, Odin is. I'm speechless when I come to him as a little boy. I can see the royalty in him already. So I know that we're spreading good genes in the world, and I do want to adopt, sickly children with special needs, all kinds of children, but I particularly would like to see more Richies in the world. And I don't know if my body can handle it so much, just because, I've had so many C-sections, and I think I'm kind of scared.
Okay. All right, that's understandable. So now I have another question, because this is what really came with the Nate Parker thing when. It is not just you, Tasha, because there was a lot of comments that were left, and I don't reply to comments all the time or anything like that. But my question is, one of the concerns was like, why can't he be with a brown woman or a black woman or whatever? Black men don't support black women, so forth and so on. So I'm going to make an assumption, and I would like it to be clarified. So the assumption here is that all of the women who are commenting, you actually know qualified black women personally. You know some.
Me? Are you?
I'm saying everybody, but you're there, so why not? You too.
Yeah. Actually,
okay.
I do know a couple of eligible, qualified, who I believe to be, good women who are available.
That would have worked for Nate Parker.
I think so.
Okay. Now, what criteria are you using to determine that they are good women?
I think that they're very kind-hearted. They're hardworking. They're educated, and they're flexible, in the sense of not, physically flexible, although they may be, but I mean in the sense of, yeah. But see, you try to give me.
Come on, Sassafras. You were doing good.
You're speaking the truth, Chief. You're speaking the truth.
No, I mean in the sense where if they had a man that was ambitious and wanted to do something as ambitious as Nate Parker did in making this film and, putting up his own money, putting up the house or whatever it was that he had to do in order to get it done, I think they would be down for that. I think
okay, so as far as you know, they would be supportive.
As far as I know. Now, let me just put this disclaimer out. Nobody truly knows everything about everybody. I have one friend in particular that I'm thinking of, and we are best friends. We've been best friends for almost about 20 years now. And while I would like to think that I know everything about her, I may not. But from what she shared with me and what she has shown me over the years, I think she would have been great. And yes,
but she's
she
poor.
Is flexible.
She's poor though, right? She's poor.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
She ain't balling, so.
Nate Parker doesn't want a poor woman because he knows he can't bring a poor woman around money. She's not going to know how to act right.
She's pretty poised, though.
So why don't you bring her into your family?
Because my...
Here we go.
No, okay, I'm not going to say my husband doesn't like her. He likes her, but...
Why doesn't he like her? No, you just said it. So why doesn't he like her?
He likes her.
She's promiscuous.
No, she's not promiscuous. She can be a little indecisive. I will say that.
Oh, she's flaky.
Kinda, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, how would Nate? You think Nate Parker would want to be with a flaky woman?
I think that because he's great, he could probably influence her and get rid of some of the flakiness.
Why would he want to be bothered when he could get with a woman who's not flaky, who's already gone through that training properly, through proper upbringing?
That's true. I mean, to me, it just goes all the way back to, okay, so, you just put me in the trick bag, Chief. Damn.
Keep going, though.
No, I was going to say, so what do we do with the women who haven't had the proper training? You mean
the women from the hood with the heart of gold?
Women from the hood with the heart of gold.
Because I know that's the show phrase. I know you came up with that tagline. So.
Dang. Okay. So maybe we should attempt, but if they don't take the bait, then I guess we got to Harriet Tubman them and be like, all right, well, you can't come with us. I don't know what you're going to do.
Well, that's if you're going somewhere. You might not be going anywhere, number one. Because if she's your best friend and she's no good, you know, you got some soul searching to do.
I mean, we are best friends, but
are you flaky?
No, I don't think so.
What does she bring to your life? How does she enhance your liberty?
She's just always been there for me. And even when...
Like a parasite?
No. Like...
She helps you.
She does. And even like, and I think I shared this in a previous show, when my husband and I went through our breakup, and I'm, you know, in the bed listening to Sade and not showering and all kinds of stuff like that. She literally came over, she cleaned my house, and she literally dragged me out of my bed and was like, you need to call your husband and y'all need to get this together because you're a hot mess. Like, stop playing.
Did she have a husband at that time?
Not at the time. She's engaged now, but it's been a
so most likely
engagement.
Her previous advice to you is what got you in that situation. Because if you were around a centered and wise married woman, you would have never done anything as foolish as to walk out on your husband. I remember the story. I remember it.
Yeah.
And you in the parking lot crying, and I need you. And he came and rushed in the parking lot. I remember the whole movie you painted. You know,
yeah. Well, no, but I'd like to think that the majority of that was just me being prideful and just, I can't believe you did this to me, and there's no way I'm going to forgive you for that. That's what prolonged.
Yeah, but if you had better friends, better friends help to sharpen one another and cultivate one another out of the silliness. And really help each other to see the larger image and say, okay, well, listen, this is where we're moving to. That's why sister or female communities are so vital. I am a big advocate of opportunities and moments when women can get together because it relieves a lot of stress and pressure. Because women, you know, men are under a lot of pressure, stress, and we talk about that a lot. But women are probably doubly so because they don't have as many outlets. Like, we could just go on the street and start a fight and just, you know, or go into a bar. Or, you know, there's so many different ways that we can get our frustrations off sexually. You know, we can make sex a very angry act. You know, a lot of times women only have the resort to go home and cry, you know, put their head in their pillow. So it builds up mountains of stress. And a lot of times when they're able to surround themselves with wise women, they can alleviate and equalize a lot of that tension that they have. But I guarantee you, she gave you some really backwards advice. And that helped to create that mind in you that did what you did. You know, this wonderful woman that you are speaking about. Speaking of so highly. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I was just curious because a lot of times, like, and I read the comments and a lot of women are talking about all these great black women that black men need to take on. But I always say to myself, like, if they're so great, why don't you bring them into your family if you have something great for yourself? Or the other question, if they're so great, why are they single? You know, because for the most part, when something is good, you know, like a lot of women always talked about, and I saw that in the comments that men are like leave women, but men never leave women. You know, 80% of the divorces initiated in the U.S. initiated by women for nonviolent reasons. You know, that's a significant number. You know, sometimes they're just going through a moment. They just I'm not happy. You know, but men, even when they're not happy, they'll still stay. You know, and if the average man, if the sex is good and the woman brings peace to her and she speaks to him respectfully, which is really the key, he's never going to leave. You know, so that whole, like, she's a good woman, but he left anyway, that's always a lie. Always, because that's not even in masculine nature to do so. So I wanted to pose that question, just this whole idea of like these great women out here. Well, why are they? If you know them, why are you not hooking them up with people you know or bringing them into your family? Because I know there's been a lot of times on the shows that women have said that, or men even, and I have announced on the shows like, anybody looking for a mate, contact me. Throughout that whole time, I've never gotten one person. Never, not one. You know, a lot of the women who listen, I said, listen, I have brothers here who are looking for mates, but I won't reveal who you are to them. You know, I'll be a mediator in between. I'll screen, but I have them here. I never got one person to reach out ever. And I've done it for women too, as well, for the brothers, and no brother has ever stepped up either. You know, so it befuddles me.
Well, I guess we better keep on with these Monday talks and getting each other in check, because I don't know, you keep peeling off a layer every time we talk. So, you know, every time I think I'm, you know, oh, okay, I got it together, I'm good. You know, it's like, oh, no. You still gotta fix this little part right here. So,
well, I mean, I didn't cite anything to fix this now, but I just, you know, it's just when you said that you and your husband thought about bringing someone in, and why not? You know, because women don't need money anymore. It's not like back in the 50s and the 60s, and, you know, women got jobs now, you know, so it's usually it's not a financial thing. Sometimes it's support on both sides, or it could just, you know, men a lot of times need sexual diversity. That's another aspect, you know, or like Sister Michelle said, just, you know, I see genius in my man, and the community needs more of this. I think that's a beautiful aspiration, you know. So, I mean, a lot of times it's different. Some women, they want it because they want somebody to help them out with the housework. But honestly, polygyny is a wealth-building tactic. So, like you said, your husband was like, I barely take care of you. Like, your husband doesn't take care of you. You take care of each other. And then, because you work, you're at work right now, burning through those people's money when you're supposed to be doing important things, you know, but you over here on talk radio. But, but you know, everybody takes care of one another. Even the children take care of each other and take care of the parents. It's a full economic cooperative. You know, it's not just a man at the pinnacle who's buying women. Oh, I can afford another wife now, let me buy another one. You know, that's not the idea. He has to be wealthy in his mind to be able to deal with female foolishness. That's the key of polygyny. You got to, how many crazy people can you deal with at one time? If there's only one, then you better stick to monogamy. You know.
Right, and I think that was his thing too. Like, yeah, you got a lot with you. I don't know if
wisdom.
I can deal with anything
It's called
else.
wisdom. All right, I'm gonna give it back to Sister Kim. I just wanted to ask that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for answering it, though. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think a lot of the ideas we have sound noble, but when you're in the situation, all that other stuff comes up. Because honestly, I think, like Chief was saying, if it was that simple, that, you know, we have all these noble reasons of why we want to, you know, bring another woman in or whatever, when that woman comes in, it's like, can you handle seeing that woman with your man, you staying at home while they go on vacation or taking turns or whatever? I think it really boils down to, I've spoken about this before, just this competitiveness or selfishness comes when we feel our resources are scarce or we got to share. I got to share? No, I don't want to see that, because a lot of times the answer will be, well, yeah, like Chief said, I'll agree to it, but he got to be able to take care of me. And, you know, it's a money issue. That's the first line of defense. You know, it's a money issue. That's why men shouldn't be polygynous. But it's really the selfishness. We feel like if somebody else is getting what I'm getting, like something is lost. And honestly, I just don't think women are honest about that, because or they'll say, well, I'm cool with it just as long as I don't have to see it. And so the question is, well, why is it a problem once you see it? And it's really because, and that's really what it boils down to. It's that thing where I don't want to share what I have. I don't know. Maybe, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I see that I see it.
I agree.
People don't want to. Yeah, they don't want to share what they have.
I agree.
because then I'm not getting 100%. I'm not getting everything. I want to get everything. I don't want to have to share. Well, I got my man. You need to find one for you. Yeah, he's a good man. we're doing this. We're doing, like, we'll throw that up real quick. I got my man. You need, it's really like a slap at you. You just got to go find yours. So why can't you share? And that's really what it is. And I think that's what it boils down to with the whole sisterhood thing. Why we can't be honest with each other as women, why we can't have those friendships, those real friendships or real sisterhoods, is because we still really want to one-up somebody else. You know what I mean? It's like we still want to be seen as first. Well, yeah, I can do it as long as I'm the first wife. Well, yeah, I can do it if, in my husband's eyes, if I'm still number one. I don't want to be number 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. It's like you still want all of it. So I think the question is, like, how do you deal with that selfishness or whatever? And for the most part, like, we weren't raised like that as women to share.
A lot of times sisters don't have their hands full enough with their children. And a lot of times that's because of economic reasons. That they're not able to really devote their full day into the rearing and raising of their children and grandchildren and so forth and so on. So they have a lot of free time. So they fill up that space with interaction with their mates, with their men. Whereas, let's say if a woman had 3 or 4 children or even 2 to 3 children, and those children consumed the mass of their day, it wouldn't be so much about what someone else is getting from my man, because her focus is more on her portion. If you look at children almost like stocks in the family. So you join a family and you're giving these stocks. So let's say if you get 3 or 4 stock shares, and those shares are the children, well, now you have to cultivate, develop, and nurture those stocks. And you got your portion. And now another woman may come in, she gets her portion of stocks. And everybody has their portion that they have to cultivate. And when their minds and their activities are centered around what they have to handle and their relationships with that, they really won't be thinking about the man that much, in all honesty. But it's just because of where we are economically and culturally. A lot of times we don't have that much time to really rear our children like we would like to. The type of time, that we would really like to put into them.
You know what? That brings up another question, though. Why do women have children? Because for the most part, like you said, if they're looking at it like stock, they're looking at their children as, I have possession of this man because I have this child by him. So when another woman comes in and has,
it's not the possession of the man, but it's the investment in the firm, in the movement.
Right.
If you look at the family as a corporate body, right. So there's a lot of things we're talking about that are and aren't. But if you look at the family as a corporate body, you as a woman, first of all, you're part of the wealth of the family, and not because of your ability to create children. That doesn't make you the wealth. When you step on the planet, you're part of the wealth of the planet. That's why you have the word Ajay, which means wealth, but it also means witch. But the children are a part of your investment into it, so that there's longevity. Remember, we come from matrilineal societies, so the lineage is held through the woman. So when that woman has children, then the line of the family carries on. So, and I'm not trying to marginalize or discredit the role of the man. He still plays a very important role. But if women really saw their cultivative and productive value that they bring to a family, a lot of the focus would come off of that man. And I'm doing this to keep the man and this and that. They wouldn't feel so depraved. And I think a lot of that depravity comes from what you said earlier, lack of sisterhood. You know, and I think I brought this up in a previous show. If we're not able to build our esteem and a sense of our self-shape amongst our own gender peer group, then of course when we get married, we find our identity and our mates.
Right.
And when someone comes along and it feels like, because we feel that sense of ownership, and that's that very selfish and evil kind of love. When someone comes along, now the identity of what we have now changes. Right. And if it changes, and a lot of times we call that's our idea of love. I'm in love because of the way the person makes me feel. That's all we're focused on. So once someone comes along, they're not going to make me feel the same way anymore. And that means I'm not going to be in love. I'm not going to get love. You know, but your greatest highs and greatest joys really can come from your peer group. You know, so it's the lack of community. You know, it's the lack of peer groups that have really gotten people kind of messed up when it comes to this subject. You know, because then if the peer group is there, even in terms of women who have children by other men, you're not really sweating it, because that other man may be a friend of yours. No big deal. You know, and a lot of us have gone through this when we were younger. You know, in grade school, your friend dated a girl. Then 2 years later, you date her, but it's no big deal, you know, and vice versa. It almost becomes incestuous when the community is that close-knitted.
Chief, could I contribute briefly?
Sure, of course.
My setup is I'm married. I've got four children at home, and my wife and I have had proper discussions about us taking another wife into the home. So my wife is a businesswoman, and she also maintains and manages all of the children all of the time. And by having another wife, it would free up her capacity to go and develop the business. It would be somebody that is, if they're in the home, then they become part of the family, and they would contribute to the home and support all of the activities within the home. And if they had siblings, then they would be integrated into the family to be the brothers and sisters of my children that I have now. So we've, as you know, Chief, we've had that discussion, and we've looked at it as well. We've looked at it, and we even discussed an individual, but that person was a bit scatty, so that person wasn't suitable. But it's something that we are seriously considering. Not considering, we are working toward. So I'm willful that in the next 12 months, 18 months, my family setup will be very different. And that person would have to come in and fall in line into the mission of the family. So they couldn't come into my home and say, "Oh, I'm not going to practice African, I'm not going to practice Yoruba culture and so forth. I want to do it this way. I want to do it that." No. The rules are established already in the home, and they will be coming in and falling into line with what's already established. And my wife doesn't have an ego problem about it. She's quite happy, in fact.
Oh no, yeah. She's we've had the discussion. She's gung ho about it because she wants that free time. Yes. And I don't think it's anything to do with me, but she can see the benefits of having the additional female support in the homestead to raise the children and to run the home. Well, you know, that is something that we spoke about some time ago, years ago, and I warned her about the stresses of just being around children all the time, because she does a masterful job with the children, and which I commend her. But I told her back then, like, you know, you're gonna need to be around some more adults, and which she confirmed later. So again, that sisterhood is such a key piece in order to maintain the sanity of the home. It's like what Tasha said earlier. When she was at her lowest, it was her sister who came in and was able to bring some sanity to the moment. You know, again, the lack of community is crippling us. You know, it's crippling us. But these are the moments, even when you make that type of proclamation publicly, where these women who keep saying they're all of these great sisters, well, bring them forward. Let's see.
Send one over to England, please. Send one over to England because
you
know,
to the
honestly,
UK,
I'm serious.
learn the Cockney
because learn the Cockney. Definitely a little bit of patois. But seriously, Chief, in England, I don't know what the situation is in America. I'd imagine it's the same. Many of the men many of the African men in the UK are either inside prison or waiting to be deported. And so there's a man shortage in England.
Right.
There's an African man shortage in England, and even with that, I find that a lot of the women don't display humility or understanding of the situation. So they want to be as they perceive it to be, and not how it is.
Yeah. Right.
That's a commonality here. I mean, there are certain demands and expectations that this society has taught females to garner, and they're very unrealistic. And unfortunately, even in those expectations, they never teach them how they should change as you mature. You know, so it's like recently I had a client. She's 64. She told me she wanted me to do work for her to meet the love of her life. And she said she wants a man who's single with no children. And I said, so you mean children who are grown? And she said, no children. I want to meet the love of my life. You see, I want him to come and sweep me off my feet. So, and this was very recent, you know. So that's a commonality. And I mean, that's just one situation. I've had that conversation a lot of times with individuals who just don't have a realistic approach. I have certain other men I know who are part of certain spiritual communities, and they still are looking for 30 and 40-year-old virgins. And if a woman is not a virgin, they're shamed, you know, without really an acknowledgement of the society that this cesspool, and you live within the Anglosphere, you know, again, Europe, North America, where that Anglo culture is the rule, it's a cesspool, you know. So we do have to certainly look at, even when we look at plural marriage or plural family, we can't just exactly look at what we did on the continent, where you're looking at a more pure gestation environment. We have to look at, okay, how do you practice plurality inside of a cesspool, and what are some of the rules and constituents that should be different, and that takes a level of humility, even for us as men. You know, we might have to say, like, no, I don't have really a kingdom. No, I don't have that. I'm working towards it, and maybe we're working towards it at a later age. Even you at your age to say, we're still looking to bring someone in. You see, back home you would have already had 3 or 4 or more.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, so it's like everything moves on a different clock here, and that's a part of our humility that we have to take on, which becomes very difficult for some. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna bring in.
Yes, I don't know if any of the sisters are volunteering.
We have one last caller that I'm going to check this call real quick. This is 817. 817. Greetings.
Peace.
Sorry I'm calling in so late, but I've just been sitting back and listening to everything. This is Sequoia.
Peace.
Topic really hits home for me. I'm learning a lot. You guys are really helping me right now. I really see how I've been behaving negatively in regards to my marriage. So thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
I just I'm gonna have to go back and listen to everything again because it's a lot, and I'm just really reflecting on some bad decisions that I've made. But just to touch on polygamy, since you guys are talking about it, I actually experienced me and my husband practice that. It was a good experience. Like I don't regret it at all. It didn't work out, but a good experience for me. Like, I learned a lot, and I agree with Sister Kim. My insecurities, they did come up, but I dealt with them in private. I tried not to like put that onto my husband and not to the female, but it did come up. I started having flashbacks to when I was in high school and I was alone, and I felt left out. I did feel left out, but I like the fact that I was able to form a relationship with her as well, and so that we all can come together as a family. And just looking back on it, we ended it because we listened to one of my single girlfriends, and she, looking back on it, I think maybe she was jealous, or that that it wasn't her. Looking back on it, but it didn't out. And me and my husband, we listened to her as far as like all the negative things she had to say about the other female. We was like, okay, well maybe we shouldn't do this, and we just ended it, and just looking back on myself, well maybe we shouldn't have listened to her. What if she was just jealous, and and we really trusted this friend of ours, so we really believed that what she was saying was fact. And now looking at it, just listening to the shows and listening to you guys, I'm starting to question like if we should have listened to her. So
well, yes. Sister Sequoia, there is no we. Of course you're going to listen to your girlfriend. That's just what you do. Why did your husband listen to a woman? Why did your husband listen to a woman outside of his relationship? Why did your husband listen to a woman who doesn't even have a mate of her own? So I'm going to put all of this on your husband, because he has to protect the gate. He didn't protect the gate. So there's no we, it's him. I'm sure you did your own ridiculous stuff, but that one was on him. That particular one, that's on him. Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead. Okay.
Hey, greetings. This is Brother Howard. Can I say something? Get in there?
Sure.
Okay. With the conversation we had previous, and from what I've been hearing, for me, you guys have cleared up a very, even dealing with the direction I'm moving forward financially in my life, like understanding the preparations that I need to make for my
No. We're not going down this road with you again. You are the prep king. You are the master of preparation. No. Listen, it's too late, Anwar. You are already in a polygynous relationship. I know where you're going with this. It's too late.
Yeah.
You already started. You are the trustee of this woman's child. Like you just said, we're still friends. We sit down and talk. We're raising this child together. So you are going to have to build the bicycle while you are riding it. Stop making excuses to pull back. I see what you're getting ready to do. No, I got to prepare. I got to get my business off the ground. I know where you're going with this.
I'm hearing you. I didn't think about it like that. But yeah, I'm having to build the bicycle as I'm riding it, because I got to do this. At my age, there's really no choice but to do that.
And here's the deal, my brother. Here's the deal. You're already riding the bicycle. You're riding the bicycle. You're riding a bicycle right now with no brakes and no handlebar.
Yeah.
Because it has no direction and it has no control of velocity. But you're already on the bicycle. You're riding it. And this woman is like, she's trying to get on the seat with you, but she's kind of halfway on, halfway off. But you two are already moving on this bicycle.
Yeah. I actually need to put the handlebar on the bike.
That's the first step. Forget the brakes, because we're already moving. Now we need some direction. We need handlebars. What direction are we going? Okay? Because you can direct her where she's going to go in her life. You can determine where she's going to move, what job she's going to have next. She's fine with that.
Yeah.
So, I know what you're getting ready to do. You're getting ready to do what you always do. Prep. You're already in it, man. You're in it.
Yeah.
Just now what your job is, figure out how to do it better than what you've been doing. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And down to something as simple, it may mean that whenever you go to pick up your son, that your truck is clean and you're clean and you look good. So you start looking like success, even if you may have 30 cents in your pocket, you know. But even just if you have to start doing things to inspire her confidence in you, you know, start showing her that you're making moves. You know, yeah, I'm doing this now, I'm doing that. So she, oh, wow, this brother's in motion. Start setting yourself above and beyond the individuals that she's dealing with. So you almost have to woo her again. But you just got to learn how to do this thing better. But you're already doing it. So prep time, you lost that.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
All right, good.
Clarification again.
Not a problem. Good.
Thank you.
All right, so we've, of course, gone over the time a little bit, and we need to start closing, but we can continue this conversation on Thursday. I think it's a really good one. Again, like Sister Sequoia said, even when she started the relationship with another woman, things started to surface. And sometimes those things only come out once someone else is added, but you know, they're still there. And I think what she said about knowing your worth and knowing your value before even getting into the dating pool or mating pool is so key, because then maybe we wouldn't have some of these problems. But because we start so late in life and because we have made so many mistakes, those problems are there. So I think starting on some of the solutions of how to deal with some of that selfishness or jealousy and all of that kind of stuff is really what's needed. So when we come back on Thursday, maybe we can have some solutions to those problems of how to get over some of that stuff so that we can stop talking to our single friends who are so great and wonderful and don't have a mate. And maybe we can start to expand our families a little bit. Because, you know, just looking at, you know, even what she said once before in the show, if you don't have a family, go and get one. There are a lot of kids running around that don't have parents or don't have families or don't have anyone there. And it doesn't have to look, it doesn't take much to just kind of, like she said, scoop them up and meet with them, you know, or have them over a few nights a week or a few days a week or something. You know, there's things that we can do that don't really necessarily require this, you know, this ideal notion that we have of what a family's supposed to look and be like. I think that's one of the huge distractions that we have. We feel like it's got to look a certain way, it has to be a certain way, and so we don't do it. We don't make those moves to do it. But I think as far as the women, I think there's a lot of work that needs to go on between the women before that's even engaged. You know, like I said, those problems seem to surface you know, we can say these noble things, and I hear it all the time. You know, really, you just want a maid. If you want a maid, just get a maid, because for the most part, that's what women, I'd like to have another woman to come in and she can help with the chores and she can help with the kids. But when it comes down to, now I got to share this man, it's like, oh, wait a minute. That's where we kind of draw the line. You know, be honest. I mean, do you just want a maid, or are you seriously considering sharing? So I think that needs to be addressed as well, because like I said, those things come out once you're actually in the situation, and it can really be damaging, you know, to all parties involved. So I think that's something that needs to be addressed as well. But we can continue this conversation again, like I said, on Thursday. So in closing, thank you all for being on the call and contributing. I think this is a really good conversation that definitely needs more exploration. So we'll continue that. And in the meantime, if you'd like to join the Anu Ministry, make sure you go to anewlifeglobal.org and sign up. If you want to be a part of the call that we have on Mondays for the women that are just coming in, make sure you sign up and make sure you let us know that that's what you want to be a part of. We'll get you in and we'll continue to build. We have really good sessions on Monday, so trying to get around some sane women is hard to find nowadays because we got a lot of mess to filter out, so, and to a lot of things to learn. But it's a healthy environment, and we share a lot and we learn a lot with each other, so it's definitely needed. And again, the men's group is on the way. Chief, do you have any information about the men's group? Okay, I think maybe he dropped. Okay, so until Thursday, I'm Kim, and this is Community Radio. Make sure you call in on Thursday. Check out seduluhouse.com for classes and A New Life Global to join. All right, thanks, everybody. Peace. Enjoy your day.